You've tuned into Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes. Your access to success strategies and more to help you move onward and upward with your life. Listen in each week as she interviews others who have really taken their essence to the next level and truly unpaused their life. Now here's your host, Dr. Callie Estes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Callie Estes, and I am founder of the Addictions Academy, the Addictions Coach, and Rehab Rescue. Welcome to Unpause Your Life. This is a great podcast where we showcase people who have done something extraordinary with their life. I welcome you, and I hope you enjoy all of our guests.
On my way, found a reason to wake up another day.
You are listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes of the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy. And I have two very fun guests today. I have Stephen Swisher and Big Joe Turner, who have teamed up to create a recovery coffee brand. Let me tell you about Stephen first. He is the owner of Happy People Coffee Company, a coffee roaster in Paris, Kentucky. He has been roasting coffee for over 30 years and has a special love for great food and beverages. When Joe Turner of Recovery Champions went up and asked him about creating a recovery coffee brand, he jumped on the chance. Not only did he say, I'll give 10% of the profits, he offered 30% of every bag. So please meet Joe Turner and Stephen Swisher.
How's everybody doing?
Great to be here.
Good, good. So tell our listeners first, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you met Stephen. How did you guys meet up, and where did this amazing idea for Recovery Coffee come from?
Well, Recovery Champions has been established here in Bourbon County for about 3 years, and I was looking for a way to give something back to the community with a great product and something everybody that when you find recovery, you seem to end up using, and I always ended up coming back to coffee. So I was wandering in Happy People Coffee at least twice a day for a double espresso, and me and Stephen just really hit it off, got to talking. Our stories are intertwined and are, in our pasts. And I brought up the idea of creating a coffee blend called, and we snowballed an idea, and it was called Recovery Coffee. And then when he made the offer of giving 30% of every retail bag sold to help with our transportation and sober living and treatment scholarship, I mean, we just went and ran with it. And, if it's meant to be, the universe makes it easy. And it's just been a great ride so far.
Up to this point, were there any other brands in the space for recovery that were coffee, or is this something brand new?
At the level that it exists, this is something that is brand new. There's been other people in the recovery space that have helped market other coffee brands, but there was no community give back. To my knowledge, this is the first coffee brand that has been marketed in the treatment space that has had any kind of community give back.
How much coffee do you think people drink at a rehab?
That kind of depends on how much they're given. What it tends to look like is that they cut coffee off somewhere around 10 o'clock to kind of limit that. And one of the things that we're doing here at Recovery Coffee, and we're actually adding a tea brand as well, is to actually kind of change the way beverages are actually given out. We have ways to create a much healthier beverage lifestyle, and it's really what recovery is kind of all about. So if you go in and drink 4 cups of coffee every morning and then stop drinking coffee at 10 o'clock in the morning, oftentimes you're drinking soda pop, sugary drinks, Gatorade throughout the afternoon. If we can shift that focus to a much healthier lifestyle orientation, we can provide very, very high quality decaf coffees, green teas. We can create sports beverages that are actually focused truly on electrolytes. I make a special green tea sports drink that has 30 times the amount of electrolytes as a quart of Gatorade.
Oh, wow. Have the people in the recovery space been receptive to this? What kind of a reaction are you guys getting?
I know on my end, I've had a huge outpouring. There's been other, media outlets that have offered free advertising. I get people hitting me up every day interested in what is recovery coffee, what does it do, how does it give back, where can I get it? I've had a great response to it.
Callie, in the first 3 months that we did this, which we just started really doing it about 5 months ago, in the first 3 months, the first quarter, we sold 55 pounds of recovery coffee.
Oh, wow.
Which actually got literally 3 people on a bus or a plane and got them to recovery.
That's amazing. So you guys are doing more in the give back sector than so far pretty much of the nonprofits out there right now, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of organizations out there that are trying to do a big give back, and I'd say with what we're doing with Recovery Coffee and what Recovery Champions does outside of the coffee brand, I'd say we're in the top tier of community give back. Yes. And that's on a nationwide scale. We don't just operate here in Kentucky. It's wherever we're needed.
So tell me more about Recovery Champions. What exactly do you do? Do you do placement? Do you do coaching? What is that? And how does that intertwine with the coffee brand?
Well, what Recovery Champions is when it started, it was merely supposed to be a community-based organization for addiction education and awareness for the parents, for the still suffering, government, schools. And within 3 years, it's turned into a nationwide organization to where if it has anything to do with recovery, you can come to Recovery Champions. We do everything from coaching to placement to the full level of wraparound care, sober living, nutrition, education. We help people with, we work with child protective services. We work with jails, local and state government. If it has anything to do with addiction or recovery, Recovery Champions can facilitate any level of need.
And how did you guys meet? Like, Happy People Coffee wasn't in the recovery space before.
I opened Happy People Coffee. The cafe opened only 6 months ago. The roastery opened last November. It's something that I've always really wanted to do. And my brand is focused, it's called Happy People Coffee for a reason. And there are 7 different smiley faces on the logo, and the red one has to do with love, compassion, and community. Everything about being a shop here in town is about supporting the community in whatever positive way we can. When Joe and I started talking about the kinds of things that he did and everything like that, the first thing that I had said is, how can I help? And he said, I've got this great idea. I would love to be able to do a recovery coffee. A lot of people do coffee and they focus on recovery, people in recovery, but nobody's really doing anything to help give back. And I said, well, then let's do something that gives back to the community, because it's a huge piece of my brand. And it's one of many different programs that I have that give back to the community. So when he started coming in and drinking espresso, the whole thing just sort of came out.
Wait a minute. Joe was drinking espresso?
Joe drinks espresso twice a day.
Did he stick his little pinky up on the little cup? That's all I want to know.
No, he doesn't lift the pinky up in the afternoon, only in the morning. Only
in the morning. So that's the secret. Okay. Very cool.
You're not supposed to be giving away all my secrets, dude.
Well, I figured, you're like this big burly guy from Kentucky, biker kind of guy drinking a tiny little cup of espresso. I want my listeners to get a visual of that, because to me, that's funny.
Well, I'll even add in more of a twist to it for you, Callie. I have my own little special cup here, and it's a nice little pink teacup.
Oh, my goodness.
My signature cup. Men wear pink, but
Men wear pink.
Drink from a pink cup.
So the next time I see you, you will be wearing a pink shirt, correct?
No, that's a negative.
Only if it's in October.
Only if it's in October. October's acceptable. That is true.
Yeah.
So tell me, I'm curious, because I ordered 2 bags of the coffee. What made you pick this type of roast versus something else? What made you say, hey, people in recovery or people getting sober would like this flavor or this taste?
We have over 53 different coffees in the shop. And so like I do with anything, I sat down with Joe with a lot of different coffee and a lot of different roast levels and a lot of different options. And we went through all the processes of trying different kinds of coffee. We did what we call a cupping in the business. And this is the one that he chose as the best widely recognizable. So there are two things about it that are good for the recovery space. Number one, it has a really, really good, bold flavor, but it's not overly smoky. It's actually a little bit sweet. There's some dark chocolate and nut flavors within it. And there's a fair amount of caffeine. We can also produce it as a decaf in exactly the same form. And it just came out to be the best tasting coffee. You can even make it as espresso.
Okay. So have you guys approached treatment centers and 12-step meetings and things like that to carry the brand?
We just started that. It's a much more complicated process than that. We actually have to be able to deliver it to them. So at Happy People Coffee, we've created all of the infrastructure, all of the logistics to be able to deliver a large-scale amount of coffee to treatment centers, both regionally and nationally. And we have a plan in place right now. I have meetings with treatment centers actually coming up here this week and next to talk about putting the coffee in. It's possible that we could max out our space within the next couple of weeks and have to actually add another roaster, which I'm actually prepared to do just for the recovery coffee space.
Wow, that's fast growth. Were you expecting it to go that fast, or were you expecting more of a slow build-up?
I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, so I've done the math a lot. And the reality is that if you have 5 facilities that have 30 beds in them, you're going to go through 150 or 200 pounds of coffee. So just a few of those actually pushes us. It's very easy that we could go through 1,000 pounds of coffee a week, and we could be at that point by Christmas, and could literally get a roaster that's 8 times the size and be prepared to go national.
Now, speaking of Christmas, I would assume your sales in coffee go up. Do you have like a coffee club where people get a subscription once a month as a gift? Can they send this to their loved ones?
Absolutely. The subscriptions, the coffee clubs, we've got a monthly, we've got a weekly, we have a quarterly coffee club. There are a number of different ways that you can actually do that. So you can choose a mixed bag. You can choose just a specific roast level. You can choose all Americans. You can choose all Indonesians. So you can go through and kind of customize how you want your gift baskets to look. And we'll even have gift cards available online so that you can actually just give your loved ones a gift card and say, here, go order your coffee.
Oh, wow. Now, what about people coming out of treatment as like a parting gift, so to speak, instead of, hey, here's a cute little certificate, you completed treatment? What about a bag of coffee?
I think it's one of the perfect things to do. One of the reasons why we're doing recovery coffee in the first place is that this is the highest quality coffee that can be purchased anywhere in the world. There are no better beans being roasted anywhere in the world. And ultimately, people in recovery are looking for a new way to enjoy their life. And what better way to wake up and go through every day at a time with an amazing cup of coffee? It certainly gives you the ability to see life from a much more positive perspective. So what better gift to give your loved ones when they walk out of recovery, but to say, hey, tomorrow morning, think of me and think of recovery, because here's that great cup of coffee.
Right. And then I know we had talked about teaming up because I have the Happy Sober Birthday mug line, putting the coffee and the mugs together and doing birthday gifts for the sober birthday, as opposed to giving someone a cake, which is more sugar, more garbage. A nice cup of coffee is a much better gift than, say, happy birthday cake.
Without question. Without question. And I mean, what better to do that than with a really cool mug to drink it out of, too?
Exactly. Not only do you want a great tasting coffee, I mean, half of the experience is, people go out and get all these elaborate mugs, and there's even websites where you can get monthly subscriptions to get the new mug when it hits. Right.
So I see this as an international scale. I mean, you've got people all over the world that can benefit from the coffee line, from having a Happy Sober Birthday mug or even a gift pack, I would think.
Without question. And we can do all kinds of different stuff with that. As a matter of fact, I just had a meeting yesterday about different kinds of T-shirts, and some of those actually including the recovery coffee. So my personal shirt that I'm going to be wearing in the shop has a patch from one of our kinds of coffee from Sulawesi on one side, the Happy People embroidery on the front, and a Recovery Coffee badge on the other sleeve.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
It's like my uniform.
Joe needs a uniform in pink.
Joe has a uniform. He's black and red. Skyscrapers tumbling to the ground and dudes lifting weights and power, bold and strong.
So you could even do coffees for mood, like different people's moods.
I'm not averse to doing, I've actually, one of the conversations that I've had ongoing with one of the gentlemen from a treatment center that we've been talking to that wants the possibility of having a light roast coffee as well as a dark roast coffee, so that there are actually choices. It's really funny when you go and look at some of the reviews of treatment centers. Oftentimes it's really, really difficult to provide phenomenal nutrition, phenomenal, eating experience within that kind of, linoleum environment, right? That this is a treatment center. Oftentimes it's a lot like a hospital, and it's very, very difficult. I've been a restaurant consultant and have been in restaurants for 35 years. Oftentimes it's very difficult to provide these awesome products, and they're not always something that we're thinking about. We're thinking about mental health and a lot of other things. The reality is that within recovery, one of the greatest things that I think we can probably teach people is look at all the great things that you're missing out on life. We're going to hand you the keys to a much, much better lifestyle. And hopefully recovery coffee can be part of that, whether you're talking about coffees or teas or anything else.
I've been in the industry 25 years, gone on 26. And the one thing I can tell you, the big deficit in treatment centers is they skimp on specific things, one being coffee. Every place I've ever worked in never really had like jet fuel coffee. It was always Maxwell House, Folgers, to me, which is like water. And I've always said,
cheap.
If you're a drinker and you're going to rehab, there's a difference between people who drink light beer and people who drink microbrew. I'm a microbrew drinker, so I like dark coffee. My coffee needs to be liquid, nitrogen in the morning. And I would drink 5, 6, 7 cups working there and be like, I'm not even getting a buzz. I want a buzz in treatment. We switched coffee in the one treatment center and we put a dark roast in and a light roast. We had more attentive people in group. We had people showing up and we had people excited to be there. So I think something as simple as changing your coffee, as stupid as it sounds, it gets people excited about something when treatment really isn't exciting.
If you're waking up in the morning and let's face it, facing recovery in the center has got to be the most difficult thing anybody has ever done. So facing that day, if you have to wake up and take a cold shower and drink a crappy cup of coffee, you're not really going to look forward to that day. But if you can wake up and take a hot shower, eat a fantastic meal, and drink the best cup of coffee you've ever had, you're ready to hit that day and succeed.
It's even more simpler than that for us that identify as addicts. We just want to fly in the morning. And if I'm somewhere I don't want to be, whether it's work or say at a podcast, with people who drink out of pink demi cups, things like that, I want that cup of coffee that's going to make me want to be here. So I look at it that way. Like, what's going to make me get out of bed and go, I want that coffee? Because I'm a heavy drinker. I'm a Death Wish drinker. I'm a Cafe Bustelo drinker. So when I got your coffee, I was like, this is actually really good. And I wasn't sure if it would be good because I'm thinking, well, recovery coffee, it's going to be light. It's going to be anti-addiction. But it wasn't. It was full-bodied and it was really good. And I really enjoyed it.
Well, it's, I've went through treatment more times than I can count. And that was the one main issue. We were sitting there talking about it's a carb load. They overload you with carbs through the whole day. They overload you with sugar, barely any caffeine. And, you have that sugar crash around 10, 11 o'clock. You don't want to go through your classes. You don't want to be there. You just want to go sleep. So if we can provide a great coffee and we can also help with the nutrition side to where they're getting all the proper nutrients, they're getting great food, and then also provide an educational side to that, to where they're not just going to get this great food, this healthy food, this great coffee, but just in treatment. To me, it should be more than that. It should be an educational side in every treatment center across America to actually teach them nutrition, and so they can take it home with them.
If you're sitting around in group at 7 o'clock at night, I wouldn't mind having a great cup of coffee if it didn't keep me up all night. So you can drink decaf, and it's phenomenal coffee still, and have it all day long if you want.
That's great. No, I think it's a great product, and it's a great service, and it's a great idea. It's something that the space definitely needs. And then to offer proceeds to give back to help, I think is fantastic.
Like we talked about, you've had other coffee lines that have, you've had people in the treatment space have tried to get out there, buy my coffee, buy this coffee, buy that coffee, but there's been no give back to our brothers and sisters. So that was my main goal. It wasn't the taste, it wasn't the flavor, it wasn't the bold and strong or the name. It was, how can we because most people when they get into recovery, we all turn to coffee. You go to the 12-step fellowship meetings, it's coffee. You go anywhere, you go to their homes, they're drinking 2 or 3 pots of coffee a day. So when I partnered up with Stephen and we started hashing all this out, and he was able to provide a great product at a low price for a great cause, it was a win-win. I mean, if you can provide a great service, a great product, and you can help people doing that, there should be no reason why it should not be a success.
That's true. So where can our listeners find you and find the coffee if they want to purchase a bag or send a monthly subscription? Where can they find you guys?
They can go directly to happypeoplecoffee.store. Our main website is happypeoplecoffee.com. They can call me on the phone at the store itself, and we can have a conversation about what we can do to provide great recovery coffee and coffee products for you. You can order from the Facebook page now, Happy People Coffee Co. on Facebook.
Okay. And Joe, if they want to find you because they need treatment placement or coaching, anything like that, where would they find you?
You can go to Facebook. You can find us in Facebook underneath Recovery Warriors. There's a Facebook page, and there's also a group. You can find me personally at the Joe Turner Effect. You can go to Instagram and find me underneath The Recovery Champion. We're on Twitter, LinkedIn, any social platform you can find us, rather underneath my name or Recovery Warriors or Recovery Champions.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for coming on. I think our listeners will definitely be checking out the coffee and going and purchasing and giving back.
Thanks for having us, Callie.
Yeah, Callie, it's been great. It's always a pleasure getting a chance to speak with you.
Awesome. You are listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes. Have a great day. Hey, everyone. Thanks again for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Head on over to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and leave a comment or review of what you think. Or contact us at 1-800-706-0318. If you want to be on our show, feel free to email or call. And if you have a topic, feel free to email or call as well.
Thanks for listening to Unpause Your Life. For show notes and more, head on over to unpauseyourlife.com.
Big shout out to recoveryinnovators.com for help producing this show. Thank you, guys.
I took a walk down the long road where they said that I shouldn't go. On my way found a reason to wake up another day. But they needed to show you all the things that you won't do. Find faith or religion, but nothing to show for it. No need to escape in love with my pain. I may be awake, but I'm alive, still alive. walk down the dark road where they said that I shouldn't go. I knew the dangers of flying. Now I'm so far from